Today, I'm flying solo, but I'm here to talk to you about all the different versions of Microsoft Copilot that are available to you today. We've got a lot of great things to talk about. I'm going to have some demos to show you of Microsoft Copilot as well. So we're going to have a lot of fun stuff here to talk about today and a lot of great new products and features to kind of show you as we go throughout the day. But to kind of kick things off, I do want to kind of give you guys a little bit of lowdown of how you can interact with me and kind of get the most out of this broadcast today. I will be taking questions throughout the entire broadcast, so please do not hesitate if you have any questions, comments throughout this broadcast. Please use the Ask Questions box that I just highlighted for you. I will be trying to collect them as we go. I probably can guarantee we're going to have a large bit of questions at the end that we're going to answer. So we're going to take our time and go through as many questions as we can. We're also going to be doing a lot of poll questions today. I'd love to get your guys' feedback on how you guys are seeing Copilot right now in the market and what you kind of know about Copilot as we stand here today. And to kind of kick things off, the first thing I did want to ask is, have you ever used any version of Microsoft Copilot? Because Microsoft Copilot has been around for about 2 years now. It was one of the kind of the key features of the 2003 release of Windows 11 when they started integrating the Copilot feature, not so much in the Bing search anymore, but it became an actual app that was available on Windows. So go ahead and take a moment, answer if you've used any version of Copilot. And as we kind of go throughout today, we're going to talk about pretty much as many versions of Copilot as we can in the hour we have available to us. But kind of looking at the answers to that, and the answers aren't surprising. 82% of you have used some version of Copilot. And that's not surprising, especially since for most of us, Copilot is available right on our desktop. If you have a Windows 11 system, you probably have seen the Copilot button in the bottom of your toolbar, and you've clicked on it and you've asked it a question or had it generate an image for you. And that's the overall goal of Copilot, really. Microsoft wants Copilot to be a digital assistant for your everyday life. It wants you to be able to help you with questions you might have, conduct research you have on anything you're doing, whether it's trying to find a new place to vacation at or looking for a new recipe. If you want to have conversations with people that don't necessarily speak the same dialogue as you and you need some kind of translation help, that's what Copilot's here for. Helps enhance your language skills. How many of us are terrible at spelling and grammar? Just me. I'm dyslexic, so I get a pass. But I use tools like Copilot to help me understand language. If I'm reading something and it's just not making any sense to me, I'll feed it to Copilot and go, hey, can you summarize this in a way that it's a little bit more digestible and kind of work through larger pieces of information that way. Another great way it is just boost creativity. It's a great sounding board to bounce ideas off of and get feedback as you go. And it's a great thing that we have available to all of us, and it's kind of available to us free. Before we get any further, though, I do want to say that this is just kind of the basic version of Copilot. I want to know. I'm going to ask a question here, and is which one of these versions of Copilot are actual versions of Copilot that are available? There's a lot on this list. Click as many as you see that you've heard of, you've used, whatever. Maybe there's some on there that aren't real. Maybe they're all real. But go ahead and click on the ones you've seen before, because Copilot has really started to now move just outside of a little chat feature within Windows 11 and started permeating everything else that is happening within the Microsoft ecosystem. And it's doing it in a really straightforward way, where it started with this chat bot, and this chat bot really kind of gets you acclimated to the Copilot experience. And for the longest time, the chatbot has been just that. It's you type in something, a response comes back. A little bit ago, you had been able to talk to Copilot. About a year ago, you'd be able to go into a mode where you could actually talk to Pilot. I'm being told that the poll didn't properly work, so I'm going to go ahead and go that one more time. There we go. Now I pushed it live. Go back to here. So Copilot was something that we could then talk to. And now Copilot's kind of advanced past then. So while you guys are answering this question, I actually want to kind of get to our first demo, because this free version of Copilot just added a new feature that I don't think many of us know about. It's a really, really cool feature that allows you to get step-by-step directions on anything you're seeing on your Windows display. So I want to go ahead and kind of give you guys a demo of a new feature called screen share with Copilot. It's something that you'll be able to try out pretty much today if you've got a Windows 11 PC that's got the Copilot app, after you kind of take a look at that. So we'll go ahead and go ahead to the demo. So here I am on my desktop, and what I'm going to do to start is open up Copilot. And it's usually found here on the taskbar in the bottom near the middle. If you've got one of the new keyboards that has a Copilot button, you can just click on that as well, and it'll open up Copilot for you. And this is a user interface we've probably all seen and maybe used before. You can use it to brainstorm ideas. You can use it to ask grammar and spelling questions based on text you've entered to it. But what I'm going to do is show off a new feature today. It is actually found right down here in this kind of the text entry bar. And it's right next to the microphone. It's this little pair of glasses called Share Screen with Copilot. And what this allows you to do is share elements or all of your screen with Copilot, and then have a natural conversation about the element you showed it to ask it questions or help walk you through some steps that you might be unclear on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually show it this PowerPoint presentation. I'm going to ask a common question that we probably all ran into about PowerPoint and see if Copilot can help fix the problem for me.
Hey, Chris. Good to chat with you. What's on your mind today?
Nothing much. I was actually wondering if you could help me out. I am trying to select which monitor this PowerPoint presentation will actually be displayed on, but I forgot where I need to go to do that. Can you help me out?
Sure thing, Chris. You can adjust the presentation display settings in PowerPoint by going to the Slideshow tab. Once there, look for the Monitor Settings section where you can choose which monitor to display your presentation on. Need help finding it?
Yes.
I've highlighted the Slideshow tab for you. Click on that, and then you can select the monitor for your presentation in the Monitor Settings section. Let me know if you need further guidance.
Yeah, where's the monitor selection setting?
I've marked the monitor selection setting for you. Click there, and you can choose which monitor to display your presentation on. Good to go?
Yeah, thank you so much. You're a lifesaver.
Happy to help, Chris. Good luck with your project.
As you can see, Copilot was able to walk me through a conversation about how to fix the issue, and then showed me step by step where I need to go to click on it. And this is not only useful for just Microsoft Office applications, it'll work for any application that you need help with. So I encourage you to experiment with this and then try it for yourself. Great new feature that's available in Copilot that really kind of allows Copilot to be not only just a passive tutor in the background, but allows you to kind of sit right beside you and help troubleshoot issues that you might be having. Now, the great thing is I've been playing around with that feature within Copilot and using it in applications that are not native to Microsoft, whether it be Tableau on the data entry side, or even a program like even like a web browser or whatever. It's able to help guide you through a lot of good things, good ways to troubleshoot ideas just by talking to it and just kind of being your side-by-side companion through a lot of these issues you'll be having. So it's a great thing to have. It is available for free. That is a part of the Microsoft Copilot application that is available on all Windows PCs. Copilot's also available on Mac and iPhone, iOS, and there's still the online version as well. There is a paid version of Copilot. It's called Copilot Pro. It's $20 a month. The main differences between the free Copilot and Copilot Pro is you get preferred access to the latest language models. You also have preferred access to the servers during peak hours, because peak hours usually will come with some slowdown in Copilot. So if you're using the free version, you might have slower response times in peak hours than you would normally. If you have Copilot Pro, you kind of alleviate that issue. You also get the ability to have Copilot within select Microsoft 365 apps. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we get into Copilot for M365, but think of that as more of Copilot for the M364 M365 apps for home and student, not business, not business. This is more of the home and student level of Copilot, not the business level of Copilot. You also get access to fun things like faster image generation, things of that nature. Quite frankly, though, Copilot for everyday users, the free version's more than good for everyone. If you're a power user and you really need that preferred access throughout the entire day, you might want to consider Copilot Pro. I do want to go back to one of the polls we asked at the beginning, was how many of these versions or how many of these versions of Copilot are real? And I'll, break the bank here. All of these are real versions of Copilot. And many of us have heard about Microsoft Copilot, what we just talked about, Copilot Pro and Microsoft 365 Copilot. But all of these other versions of Copilot are actual versions of Copilot. We obviously won't be able to get to all of them today, but as we kind of go through the day, we'll show off as many as we can. Moving on, though, we want to move on to kind of the next question, which is, have you ever used Microsoft Copilot for work purposes? We're all pretty much in a work environment right now as we speak. Have you ever asked Copilot a question about a work email or a product that you might be working on, or to research a customer or what have you? Have you ever used Microsoft Copilot at work? Because the next thing we're going to talk about is Microsoft 365 Copilot. And there are really two flavors of Microsoft 365 Copilot. If you're an existing Microsoft 365 customer, you have access to Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat, which is basically the Microsoft Copilot that I just showed you, but in a secure environment for work purposes. The main underlying differences between Microsoft Copilot and Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat is the enterprise grade data protection you get as part of the M365 package. What that essentially means is all of your prompts and associated data are handled within your Microsoft 365 tenant boundaries, and none of the prompts and responses used as part of your Microsoft 365 Copilot chat sessions are used to train the underlying large language model. So what that essentially means is none of the data that you put out into Microsoft 365 Copilot chat gets used to train the larger data model. When you're using Microsoft Copilot, anything you put into it can be used to train its model later. So if you put sensitive company information into Microsoft Copilot, what we just showed you, that information can be used to train the language model further, and that information can then be accessed by other people, whether maliciously or unmaliciously, to get information on you. So if you are company Joe Schmo and you put, Joe Schmo's sales information and information about the latest product into Copilot because you want it to summarize, and then your competitor goes, hey, I'm trying to research Joe Schmo. Can you tell me everything you know about them? It's going to tell that person the information that you put in as part of your query to summarize the document. Not a good situation. When you're using Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat, that will not happen. That information does not use to go train the larger model. Dan did ask a question, what is the difference between using Copilot Pro in M365 apps and Microsoft 365 Copilot? Basically that as well. So the other part of Microsoft 365 Copilot is the integration of Copilot into the actual Microsoft Office apps. If you would like to kind of see a larger demo of that, I do already have a 22-minute demo available on the Go Big AI webpage. You can go ahead to dnh.com/gobigai after this presentation and see a larger demo of me using Copilot within the Microsoft suite of applications. But to sum up, it basically operates kind of the same way as Click to Share operates, where you have Copilot directly in the application, and you can use it to access the data within the application. In Excel, you can use it to analyze or come up with new formulas to sort your data or do whatever data manipulation you need to do. Within PowerPoint, you can use it to create more slides that can be used in your PowerPoint presentation. And in Word, you can use it to help draft additional information into a document. So there's a lot of great features you can use for it, but the difference between the Pro version where you get that access and the Microsoft 365 version where you get that access is again, in the Pro version, if you show it a PowerPoint document and that PowerPoint document has sensitive information, it will use that sensitive information to train the large language model. If you're using Copilot, Microsoft Copilot M365, it will not do that. So the main thing I kind of want to get out of the difference between Copilot, Microsoft Copilot Pro is think of it as the old Microsoft way. That's the home student version of Microsoft Copilot. Microsoft M365 Copilot is the business version. The business version doesn't use your information to train the large language model. So those are the two kind of main differences between the two. I am going to push out the poll result of have you used Microsoft Copilot at work. 62% of us have said yes. So I'm hoping those 62% of the people that said yes are using Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat and not Microsoft Copilot, because if you put any of your company's sensitive information in there, it may be at risk. If you're interested in using Microsoft Copilot, but you're a little weary about the data getting out there, that's what Copilot Chat is available for you. I have Edward says, I have the paid version of Copilot. Do they offer chat with AI? In a way, yes. In that if you hit the microphone button in Microsoft Copilot, you can chat with the AI. If you do the screen share, you can chat with the AI. But you can also do that in the free version. What you're getting access to with that paid version is priority access. Sometimes if you hit that microphone button, it might go, hey, I've got a couple other people in front of you, since it is functioning off the network. If you have to queue up behind some people to actually talk to that bot. If you got the Pro version, you wouldn't have to. Just also something to keep in mind, if you're using any of these two versions of Copilot that we're talking about, whether it's Copilot or Microsoft Copilot or Microsoft 365 Copilot, both of those utilize the network to access the cloud to get that information. So your network connection is incredibly important. So, keep that in mind. If you might need to refresh your network to do so, and if you need to do so, we've got plenty of great vendors that are part of this SMBUnite program, like Netgear, that can kind of help walk you through upgrading your network so it's set up to handle kind of these new AI requests that are going out there. Ronnie Hall asked, what are the format of the pictures that are created in Copilot? I believe it's just PNG or JPEG. Kind of really depends on where it comes from. Is there a comparison chart for all these different versions of Copilot? Not really. You can go to Microsoft's webpage and kind of get information on each one of these individually, but I'm hoping throughout this entire presentation, we kind of create a one source you can go to kind of get all the information you need on Microsoft Copilot, all the versions that are kind of pertinent to us and how we do our day-to-day business. I'm going to flip it to this next slide here real quick. It is the pricing information for Microsoft 365 Copilot. Like I said, if you have a existing Microsoft 365 subscription where you're using Teams, and the Microsoft Office suite of applications, you have access to Microsoft 365 Copilot chat for free. It's not in addition to your subscription. You just have access to it. You go to copilot.com, or you go to, excuse me, office.com, and it will take you to the Copilot chat for you. If you if you subscribe to Microsoft 365 Copilot, which is an additional subscription on top of your Microsoft 365 subscription, you get access to having the ability to have the Copilot within the applications. And like I said, if you want to see a demo of that, you can head on to dnh.com/gobigai. I've got a 25-minute demo showing kind of all the features that exist there. You also have the ability to create agents within Microsoft Copilot Studio, which we'll show a little bit of that kind of here in the near future. But with all these levels, you do get the enterprise grade security and privacy. Again, we'll not use any of that information to train the larger data model that is used for Microsoft Copilot. Next question I saw was, excuse me, no, that's one. Is Microsoft planning on releasing a month-to-month subscription? Microsoft 365 Copilot is month-to-month. It is $30 per month. Actually, I think it's pretty much, no, that is paid yearly. I apologize. That is paid yearly. I don't know if they will do a month-to-month. That is something, though, I would reach out to our pro service team at dnh.com. Actually, excuse me, modern solutions at dnh.com. They'd be able to help walk you through any options that might exist to do it in a month-to-month fashion. Are there SKUs available for Copilot in the DNH database? Again, best option is going to be reaching out to modern solutions at dnh.com. These are all available on DNH's cloud platform. So you wouldn't find them on dnh.com, but they are part of our cloud platform. Yeah, I have clients that need it in a month-to-month. Seriously, what I would definitely reach out to our modern solutions team, because there might be ability to sell that as a service where we buy the subscription for the yearly price and bill it out to your customer on a monthly basis. So definitely reach out to Modern Solutions and see if they have any options that are available to you. I would almost be 100% sure, Fred, they absolutely would. Moving right along, now that we've kind of talked about Copilot, and we have a difference between Copilot and Copilot Pro, and Copilot M365 Chat and Copilot M365 kind of being that divider, being between the two of them, being one's for business, the other one's for your personal use. Let's dive a little bit deeper into kind of the features that exist within Microsoft Copilot 365. And one of the features I talked about was the ability to build agents. And what agents are specialized chatbots that have described knowledge bases to them to help answer questions that are a little bit more specialized, that might be difficult for a wide open large language model to answer. And the reason I say that is because large language models do their best to figure out what you're talking about with the context of the query you give it. So if you give it a query like, how does offside work in hockey? We just ended the hockey season last night. Congratulations, Florida Panthers. If there are any Panthers fans out there, get your second cup in a row. But if you ask Copilot a question going, hey, how does offside work in hockey? It's only going to be able to work within the context that you gave it, those 6 words. So the first thing it's going to do, it's going to take that query and run it through a refiner. And it's going to go, hey, what is this query actually about? Is it about history, news, entertainment, sports, science? It's going to go, well, it's relating to hockey, so it's probably about sports. And then it's going to try and refine that some more. The large language model is going to go, okay, what sport are they talking about? Football, soccer, baseball, tennis? No, they said hockey, so they're talking about hockey. So it'll refine it a little bit more and go, okay, within hockey, what do I think that's talking about? Is it talking about players, positions, strategy, rules, history? No, I think it's specifically talking about a rule, and it's going to keep refining it. It's going to go, okay, you're talking about an infraction rule, and you're talking about a line infraction, and then you're talking about offsides eventually, and it's going to push you out the answer. So that's how the large language model works. It kind of takes a large amount of information, and starts refining it into a small amount of information as it can until it gets you the response you need. That has difficulty working in most business cases because most business cases have very specific information you're asking it. So what Copilot agents or Copilot Studio allows you to do is to build an agent that has a predetermined knowledge base and only query that knowledge base. And kind of show you how that works, I'm going to go ahead and show a demo of how to build an agent within Copilot Studio, and it'll give you a better idea of how these agents work and they can best help you out. So here I am in Copilot Studio, and I want everyone to say hi to Tony here. Tony is our Copilot agent that we're going to be testing out today. And Tony's an agent that I've created as a chatbot to help people with questions about field hockey. If you want to know where I got Tony's name, I literally just Googled famous field hockey player names, and Tony was the first name that I could actually pronounce. So Tony gets to be our helper today. And what I did for Tony is I gave him some general instructions, and the instructions were to utilize the knowledge that it has to answer people's questions about field hockey, limiting the amount of information that's coming from the general web. And I told it to do not answer queries that are not about field hockey. So I don't want this chatbot to answer any questions that are not about field hockey. And then what I did is I gave Tony some knowledge, because without the knowledge for these agents, they aren't very much help. And the knowledge I gave it was, the basic knowledge for this fictional field hockey league. I gave it the rules for field hockey. I gave it information on the bylaws, the code of conduct, entertainment, gift policies, all those things. And I was able to just do that by going ahead and hitting add knowledge and just dragging and dropping PDF files and Word files into this upload folder. And then after those files have been uploaded and processed, it took about 5 minutes for each. They were ready to go, and they were part of Tony's knowledge base. And now that I've kind of given Tony a purpose and given him some knowledge, we can start to test Tony out and see how he will react differently than a standard open LMM. So I'm going to go down here and where I can test my agent out. I'm actually going to turn on the tracking so we can kind of see how Tony figures out the answer to the question I'm going to do. I'm going to ask the question that we're talking about at the top. How does offsides work in hockey? Go ahead and ask Tony this, and we're going to see Tony work through this process. It's going ahead and check all of the knowledge sources that we have before it generates a response. As you can see, now it's generated a response that's saying field hockey doesn't actually have an offside rule. Since it knows the specific hockey we're talking about, it's able to look at the actual rules of hockey, and it's kind of actually showing us in where it's referencing that information from to find this answer. Users would also be able to click on that PDF as well to know the exact document it's referencing the answer on. So the user is going to be able to know exactly where we got the information from, and it's going to give us a clear answer about what we're asking it. And it's not going to have unknown context like we would have in a general LMM without the proper context and knowledge that Tony has. Next, I'm going to ask it a question that has nothing to do with hockey and see if Tony responds appropriately. So I'm going to ask, why is the sky blue? And there you go. Since it wasn't a question about field hockey, it went, sorry, can't help you out with that. You can either rephrase the question or ask something about field hockey. So great job overall by the agent. It was able to use the knowledge I gave it to answer the specific question with the context that we needed. And it was also able to differentiate a question that had nothing to do with hockey, didn't go to the outside world, and didn't answer the question. So there you go. That's kind of a quick demo of how the agents work within Copilot Studio. And you can kind of already see from a business perspective how this could be really useful. Let's say you have a bunch of documents that are like very specific technical documents for products you sell, or very specific information that that only pertains to your business, that doesn't really apply to the outside world. Well, if you were able to feed that information to an agent rather than just kind of going to the general chat, the agent's going to take a look at that knowledge information first, use that information, and then create a general context specific language. Then it's going to look at agent actions, which we'll talk about a little bit more later, and then it'll take the large language model information to query or create an actual good response for that. So it's a great way to really customize and use Microsoft 365 Copilot chat in a more efficient way for work purposes. And it was really as easy as that to build the agent. There was no coding that I needed to do. I literally just filled in those 3 text fields, gave it 5 pieces of information, and it was off and running. It was really, really easy for me to program that. So without even getting too deep into the weeds, you're able to create some really, really, really useful agents that you could use for business purposes, or kind of any of the purposes that you would need. With that being said, there are a ton of more options you can do with agents, including you can have these agents automate tasks for you. And there's just so many new other things you can do with Copilot agents that I just don't have the time to go in today. Luckily, next Wednesday, 2:00, for the Go Big AI webcast coming up, I'm going to be doing a full demo of Microsoft Copilot Studio. We're going to build an agent with automation, so that agent will be able to reach out to the outside world if it needs additional help. We'll show it how to generate emails and messages in Teams, to reach out to team members to help kind of elevate questions from a chatbot to a live person on the fly. So if you're interested in learning more about that, make sure you kind of keep your eyes open for that, because those invites are out there today. I'm going to go to this next slide real quick, because I think it's going to answer a couple of people's questions. Pricing for Copilot Studio. Copilot Studio is a little bit different in terms of its pricing model, because it's generally priced on a per message basis. So let me preface this by saying you can create a Copilot Studio, you can create a Copilot agent and release it pretty much anywhere, to the general web, to Facebook, to any social media platform, whatever. Or you can have that agent released specifically within your Microsoft 365 Copilot chat, so it's only accessible to the people on your company's domain. You control how you release it. It's all within the settings. Again, we'll kind of talk about that next week as we go deeper into Copilot Studio. But generally speaking, it is priced on a per message basis. So per message it generates, it is priced on that. $200 a year will get you 25,000 messages per month, which is quite frankly a lot. We did some math here at D&H, because we were looking at, hey, do we want to create a couple of agents to help us out with some specific specialist questions that we had, and we couldn't come up with a scenario where our entire company would use more than 25,000 messages per month. So it doesn't sound like a lot, but it actually is in a long scheme of things. If you don't think you're even going to use that many, or you think you're going to use more, there's a pay-as-you-go method where you just kind of pay per message. And I think it kind of boils down to almost a cent per message, or less than that based on the package. If you have an existing subscription to Microsoft Copilot 365, the one that we talked about previous to this, that has access to Copilot within the Microsoft suite of applications, you have access to Microsoft Copilot Studio, and you have access to free messages to Copilot agents as well. You can create agents and message agents for free. So if you have a mixed environment, which I've been advocating for quite some time, if you have a mixed environment where you have people within your organization that both have the Microsoft Copilot 365 license and don't, you can still create agents. use it within the organization. The people that have Microsoft 365 Copilot will not go against that 25,000 message per month uh, rate, and the people that are just have a basic M365 license will go against that 25,000 message month rate. Again, I don't think that's a huge problem, but it depends on what you're trying to use that agent for, and every use case is different. So there are a couple of different options and ways you can go with that. Gonna move on to questions here real quick because there was a couple of them that I saw pop up. Can you show on the Go Big AI page where the demo is? I believe it is the 7th video. I can't show directly right at the moment. Maybe we can get there at some point at the end of the broadcast, but there is one that is specific around Microsoft 365 Copilot. So it is up there. Does a paid version of M365 Copilot offer the same security as Copilot Plus PCs? Well, Paul, that's a great question because the next thing we're going to talk about is Copilot Plus PCs. So, but to answer your question before we kind of get to Copilot Plus PCs, the answer is yes and no. Yes, in that it's secure because Microsoft M365 Copilot never leaves your company's domain. So any queries you make on that kind of stays within your company's domain. Microsoft Copilot or Plus PCs, any AI that happens with that and them happen on device. So we'll kind of talk about how that's different as we kind of transition over to Copilot Plus PCs, because this is probably the next big one that you guys have all heard a ton about. About last year in the fall, Microsoft released their first wave of Copilot Plus PCs, and we are now deep into the second wave of Copilot Plus PCs. Essentially, a Copilot Plus PC is a PC that Microsoft has deemed as AI ready. And these PCs have a lot of great features or a lot of great things that happen as part of them. They are incredibly fast for mobile computers. Whether you're talking about the chips coming from AMD, Intel, or Qualcomm, these are all incredibly capable mobile PCs. The battery life on all three of them across the board, phenomenal. I'm usually getting about 18 to 20 hours on my current AMD system I've been daily driving. That's on par with what I was seeing on the Intel and the Qualcomm side as well. A great all-day battery life. It does have exclusive AI features that only exist in Copilot Plus PCs that we'll talk about in a second. And because it's got the AI directly on the device, it makes it one of the more secure places to do some of your AI actions because those AI actions don't actually leave the device itself. What do you need to qualify as a Copilot Plus PC? It's going to be a Windows 11 PC that has an NPU. NPU stands for Neural Processing Unit. I'm sure we've kind of all heard about this before because it's kind of been out in the market for about a year. There are now processors from AMD, Intel, and Snapdragon that all qualify for this. Many of the demos the demo you're about to see is actually running on an AMD an AMD Ryzen 360 processor, I believe I show off. So it's running natively on that AMD processor. Requires 16 gigabits of memory and at least 250 gigs of storage. The reason it requires that 250 gigs of storage is because of recall, which we'll talk a little bit about in a second. But the memory, on the memory side, I would say just in general, whether you're talking about a Copilot PC or a general Windows 11 PC, 16 is the new minimum, guys. The days of 8 are over. 16 is the new minimum. Don't be buying systems for your people that have less than 8. I'm just going to put that out there as my preference as a technical expert there. So 16 is the new minimum. But Copilot Plus PCs do have some exclusive features directly on them. A lot of them aren't great for business. Some of them are great for kind of more consumer use. But we're going to kind of show off some of the more business case scenarios here as we kind of go out in this presentation. You have a co-creator that allows you to kind of create rough drafts in Paint, and it kind of creates a 3D, or excuse me, creates a AI image based on that. Image restylize does the same things, takes an image and changes the style of it. There's two features that are great for business uses that I will show more in-depth demos on during that Go Big AI broadcast next week, which is live captions and recall. And I'm going to save recall for next week because recall is a hot button issue out there. Most of you will agree with me that have heard of recall. There's a lot of people that are worried about security when it comes to recall. Next week, I will break down literally everything you need to know about recall. Is it enabled? Is it enabled at start? How do I disable it? How do I keep my privacy even when it is enabled? What does it actually do for me when it is enabled? How does it save the information? I will go over literally all of that next week. The reason I'm not doing it this week, it is way too much information for me to get across in an hour, and we're already 19 minutes to go in this one. But I did want to show off a new Copilot Plus feature. It's actually one of the brand new features. It was part of the Wave 2 updates that brought us these AMD and Intel systems. It is called Microsoft Copilot Click to Do. And it allows you to look at any screen that you're using a Copilot Plus PC on and bring up an AI user face where you could ask questions or change text or edit images without having to go into any other application. So let's go ahead and take a look at a new feature for Copilot Plus PCs called Click to Do. So here we are on our brand new Copilot Plus PC. This one is actually powered by the AMD Ryzen AI 7 Pro 360 processor. Great new system, fully compatible with Copilot Plus, so you'll get all the features of Copilot Plus on this system. And what I want to go ahead and do is show off one of the newest features of Copilot Plus. It's called Click to Do. I'm going to open up my Word document here where I've started to draft an email about some frustration me and my team have been having about a meeting time that doesn't work with our team. This is probably not the most professional way of doing it, but with Copilot's help, I can probably make this a lot more professional. So what I do is hold in the Windows key, and it's going to bring up this little colored circle interface, and I'm going to click on that text, and now Copilot has highlighted that text, and it will allow me to do a couple of things with it, but what I'm going to do actually come down to here to rewrite, and we want to make that a lot more formal. And there you go. Looks a little bit more formal. It's probably a little bit nicer, a way of putting our frustrations out there. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that, and we're going to go ahead and close Click to Do. And all I'm going to do is, highlight all the information in there and paste the new message in. Yeah, with help like this, I might make Employee of the Month. So really, really quickly, I was able to highlight some text and have it rewritten. You can also have it grammar checked and things of that nature without having to go into a new application. But another great feature or great way I've seen to use this feature is with error messages. You have an error message that pops up on Windows, and often you have no clue how to even begin to fix that error. Well, Click to Do can actually help you walk through steps to fix errors when they do arise on your system. So I'm again going to bring up that interface. I'm going to hold the Windows key in, and I'm going to click on this error message now. And it's going to go ahead and highlight the text of that. And this time I'm going to go ahead and ask Copilot. And it's going to go ahead and bring up Copilot. I'm going to ask, how do I fix this error? And instead of doing a quick response, I'm actually going to ask it to think a little bit more deeper about this error so we can know for sure that we're going to get a proper response. I'm going to go ahead and click Enter, and Copilot's going to go about getting the answer to how we fix this error. And there you go. It took a couple of seconds, and Copilot has sent us a step-by-step guide on how we can go about fixing this error. Didn't have to go searching on the web, didn't take that long to do. So overall, this is a great tool for productivity. It's a great tool for problem solving as well. And there's a bunch of different things you can do with image manipulation within the click-to-do interface as well. So this is just a great new feature available on all Copilot Plus PCs that you should definitely check out. So yeah, that's a great new feature with Copilot Plus PCs. And what I was saying while I was muted was as Copilot Plus PCs have kind of rolled into Wave 2, they've started creating new features that I kind of miss when I go back to a regular desktop PC. Right now, I'm on my standard Windows 11 PC that I use in my studio, and I miss having click to do. I miss being able to hold the Windows key in and being able to highlight text and rewrite, or being able to get that help with error messages or what have you. So I'm starting to get to the point where I'm actively missing the features that are coming in these Copilot Plus PCs. There was a question that was asked previously about the security of the Copilot Plus PCs, and I will note that in that demo, I did use Ask Copilot about that error message. That is asking the Open Copilot. So if I used Ask Copilot on business-sensitive information, even though I'm on a Copilot Plus PC that does run some AI processes on it, when I use Ask Copilot, that does still go to the cloud. It doesn't answer that directly on the device. So the main issue with Copilot Plus PCs is really deciphering when the AI is happening on device and when the AI is happening in the cloud. I know Microsoft is working to address that to make it a little bit more clear to everyone when that's happening. But generally speaking, anytime you get into that Copilot application and you query something, that is going to go to the cloud. When you're using things like Recall or the live translate that we'll show kind of next week as we go, or any of those other Copilot Plus features, those happen directly on the device, on the NPU, and we'll kind of show how that works as we go. Even in that broadcast, you probably saw how some of that stuff was running directly on the NPU. So as you kind of move forward, keep these Copilot Plus PCs in mind, because every 6 months they're getting great new features. I'm really excited to see what Wave 3 looks like and what else Copilot has in store. One of the best new features that I've seen that doesn't even get talked about at all is the fact that they're now using the NPU to help do Windows searches. So if you go into your normal Windows 7 search bar and search for a file or something on your computer, instead of bogging down the CPU, it sends that over to the NPU. We're starting to see that movement of things that don't need to happen on the CPU, things that are search related or take a lot of small operations to do, move over to the NPU rather than bogging down your CPU. So you can continue working while your system on the background is using the NPU to search for things. It's kind of a great feature to do. We are at 10 minutes to go in this broadcast. So that's unfortunately all the information I'm going to be able to get out today. Like I said, if you guys were interested in learning more about Copilot Plus PC features, please join me next Wednesday, 2 o'clock, same bat time, same bat channel for our Go Big AI broadcast. We're going to be going over a lot of Copilot Plus features, including live translation, including recall, all the stuff that I was talking about. We're going to go a deeper dive into Copilot Studio to show how you can build out agents a little bit more to be a little bit more automatic. And we're also going to be talking about other pieces of software that are out there that are utilizing the NPU as well. So you have third-party software that is also starting to use the NPU, and I want to show some of that off as well. But as I kind of go through the end here, if you guys have any additional questions, go ahead and ask them. But I do want to take a moment to thank our premium vendors for this broadcast: AMD, Lenovo, Lexmark, Logitech, Microsoft, Netgear, and Samsung. Lenovo is among the OEMs that are creating these great Copilot Plus PCs. Logitech has some great new devices that have AI built directly into the mouse that allow you to access AI features without even taking your hands off the mouse. They even have a mouse that has force feedback that will vibrate as you move from monitor to monitor. I have 3 monitors in front of me. That feature alone could sell me a mouse, because sometimes I get my mouse lost. So to be able to tactilely feel when that mouse moves to a different monitor is great. Lexmark, if you haven't heard about Optra, go out to the Go Big AI website. We talk about Optra a lot there. I can't wait to be able to show that off to you. And Samsung has a lot of great storage options, which you're going to need if you're going to be using things like Recall. And we'll kind of show you how much storage Recall can eat up as we move forward. Also, thank you to the other sponsors that are part of the SMBUnite program. Thank you so much for all you guys' help and everything you guys do. I do also want to talk really, really quickly about your guys' ability to win a dream Caribbean cruise. Unfortunately, I have asked again, and for the second time, I was told I'm not eligible to win this. I figured I'd done enough of these for SMBUnite that I would be eligible to win, but guess not yet. But you can be eligible to win. This contest runs through February 26th of this year to March 2nd of next year. There'll be 7 winners as the top customers with the highest new sales revenue among those premium vendors that I just talked about. There'll be 1 overall winner that has the highest revenue across all those premium vendors, and 1 winner that is a new customer that has the highest revenue across all those premium vendors. So, if you're selling those premium vendors and you keep selling a lot of them throughout this kind of this next the dates I gave you was the dates of the trip. The timeline of the timeline of the contest is February 1st to November 30th. I apologize for that. I was reading this verbatim and it wasn't organized properly. I probably could have used Copilot to organize this a little bit more properly. I'm sorry, Nikki. But I'm going to get to some questions here on that note. We're going to kind of switch back over to the sponsor screen here as we answer some questions. Kevin wanted to know, so to be clear, if someone purchases M365 Copilot, they get access to Copilot Studio, but how many tokens they get is $200 per year, but how many tokens they get, understanding that is they buy 200. No. Okay. If you have someone that has a Microsoft 365 Copilot account on your Microsoft 365 domain, they have the ability to create agents and use those agents without using any studio tokens, or if you want to use the token phrase. But if you have anyone else that is part of that domain, that Microsoft 365 domain that uses that agent that person made, you would have to pay per message that person uses. So you've got 3 people. I'm the one that's got the Copilot 365 license. I built the agent for 2 other people on my team. They don't have that same license. They just have the basic Microsoft 365 license. Every time they use an agent, that message would go against that 2,500 or 25,000 message cap per month. So that's kind of the way it works. If you have multiple people that have that M365 license on that domain, none of those people using that agent would go against that cap. So I hope that clears things up a little bit more. Can I get access to your Copilot demo videos, specifically the Copilot Studio demo? Yes, this will be available on D&H's YouTube page. So check this out probably later in the week. These videos will be on there in their entirety. I might actually also split these videos off and send them over to LinkedIn. So follow me on LinkedIn. They might show up there as well. I think someone asked this, but I missed it. Where can I view demos of that? I just answered that. Sorry, I gotta read all these questions for the first time as I go through this. Can you force an M365 Copilot to do everything on the endpoint via Copilot plus PC? Or do you have to go to the cloud for some things? The answer to that question is no, you cannot force it to do everything on the endpoint. Specifically, if you're doing like a chat with Copilot, it's just not going to have the amount of information directly on the device to be able to answer all those questions. It does need to query the larger language model to come up with some of those answers. For other things like general language information, like rewriting that sentence that I showed you during the demo, that's not going to go to the cloud. That's going to happen right on the device. But when you're asking a larger question like that, it's going to have to go to the cloud to do it. Now you can, instead of opening regular Copilot, you can have it open up Microsoft M365 Copilot Chat, which is the secured version. It's as simple as just adding it to that menu. I was showing you a fresh Copilot Plus PC. I didn't have the M365 client on that PC, but if I did, it would have showed up at that drop down. So you do have the ability to still access a secure version of the cloud if you need to on that Copilot 365, or excuse me, that Copilot Plus device. Boy, they do not make this any less complicated. Um, there was a question on what is the average ROI for Copilot users. That's a great question because it really, and I hate to answer questions like this as it depends, um, but it really kind of does depend on a what the user's doing, and b what kind of processes they've used to make AI easier. I would say for a user like me, and I'd consider myself a little bit more of a power user because I use things like Power Query and Power Automate and things that are rather complicated. But with Copilot M365 Chat, I'm able to put the formulas that I'm using or the code that I'm using into that chatbot, ask it questions of how to either modify it, change it, fix an error that would take me hours to troubleshoot without an AI bot that it's able to do for me in 5 seconds. So for my purposes, it just saved 3 hours of my time. For a general user that's doing emails, Word, you know, basic stuffs in Excel, nothing crazy, there's probably not a use case that would say, hey, they absolutely need M365 Copilot. They could probably just use the free Copilot on 365 Copilot Chat and be just fine. They don't need that $30 per month. So it really depends. And I think its pricing model is flexible enough where you can go, okay, I've got these power users. They're going to have the licenses because they need them, but our standard M365 users aren't going to get those licenses. When you get back into the agent side, though, then you have to discuss how often is that agent going to be used. We have some huge plans that we would love to start utilizing agents within D&H. We're taking our time with it and trying to figure out how much it's going to cost on a per agent basis, how many agents we can roll out, how many people we can put on M365 Copilot to mitigate costs. That stuff takes time to figure out for every company. And the larger the company, the more complicated it gets. So um, I wish I had a more concrete answer for you. I'm sure Microsoft could come up with some marginalized answer that says, oh, the ROI is X percentage, but really the answer is it depends. What are your recommendations for CPU specs for the Copilot Plus PCs? Well, obviously they need those MPUs that have the 40 tops on there, which is kind of the bare minimum to meet a Copilot Plus PC standard. Past that, um, there's been a lot of talk about core count and how um, manufacturers, some manufacturers have dropped core counts in specific lines from 16 to 12 or 12 to 8. Um, core count's not as important anymore when you start to talk about these Copilot Plus PCs with these large MPUs. And the reason why is um, you had processors that had performance cores, these high powered cores that do the normal day to day task. And then you had these low power cores, these low power cores would do the background tasks like blurring out your background in Teams, searching for things on your computer, um, uh, doing your spell, grammar check, things of that nature. These are all things that are now handled by the NPU instead of those low power cores. So I wouldn't be so concerned about the core count going down because now you're just seeing processors that have 8+ all performance cores, and all those low end cores have now moved over to the NPU. That's a more efficient way of handling those processes. So on the recommendation side, just make sure it's got those 40 tops and at least those 8 performance scores, and you'll be fine. You don't need to go overboard on some of these things, but just don't overthink it on that front. Anything you're going to see from AMD, Intel, and Qualcomm right now that is qualified as Copilot Plus is going to be a highly capable CPU as well as an NPU. Does anyone want to know if I can get a copy of these slides? There will be an ability to get these copies of these slides out to you guys. Yes, we'll work on that after this presentation is over. With that, I've talked for an hour straight. I hope you guys have walked away with a little bit of more knowledge here on the different versions of Copilot. There are still so many different versions of Copilot we could talk about. Copilot for GitHub, Copilot security, Copilot for sales, Copilot for visual basic coding. There's a ton of different versions of Copilot, but I feel like these are the 3 versions that we are all going to experience in our day-to-day lives and our day-to-day business with our customers. These are the ones that our customers are going to be asking about, wanting more information of. So please, if you have any more questions about this stuff, don't hesitate to reach out to us, techsolutions@dnh.com, with any additional questions. I'd be more than happy to help you out with that. Jump on a call with you if you got any questions as well that you need additional clarification past this. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign off for the day. Look forward to seeing as many of you that can show up next week as we kind of dig a little bit deeper into Copilot Plus PCs and Copilot Studio. Again, thank you to all the sponsors for SMBUnite for helping bring this broadcast to you guys. And I hope you guys have a wonderful afternoon. Take it easy.